Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. Today we're going to be doing a real estate market update or real estate market review of the last 3 weeks following the new stress test changes that went into effect June the 1st. Now for this video, we are specifically going to be looking at the numbers coming out of my market, coming out of Barrie. That's because I do a weekly market update for the city of Barrie. Yes, you heard that right, a weekly market update, not annually, not monthly, not bi-weekly, a weekly market update where every week I take a look at the amount of new freehold listings that hit the market in a 7-day period, the amount of sold freehold listings, the amount of new condo listings, as well as the amount of sold condo listings, which gives us a pretty good idea and a general snapshot of what the market is doing on a week-to-week basis. Hopefully by the time I publish this video, I figured out a way to actually link it. So if you do want to subscribe and receive that weekly market update for the city of Barrie, I'll include the link down below. But although these numbers are specific to Barrie, from what I've heard, the ratio or behavior is more or less the same in other markets such as Waterloo, Wellington, the GTA, and other areas. So before we dive into it, if you're new here, what's up? My name is Andre. I'm a real estate agent here in Ontario, selling and servicing the Simcoe regions of Barrie, Innisfil, Angus, and Muskoka. On this channel, we talk about buying, selling, investing tips, market news, and other real estate related content. So make sure to check out some of my other videos if you like this one. Also drop a comment down below and let me know your thoughts on this video. So these new stress test changes only went into effect June 1st. We're about a week and a little bit out. It's too early to tell exactly what impact this has had on the overall real estate market in Ontario. However, in this video, we're going to take a look at the past 3 weeks of data and sale numbers to see what happened leading up to the announcement, the week following the announcement, as well as the week after these changes were actually put into effect and put into play, so that if you are a potential future buyer or seller and you want to time the market for next time, if we ever see another stress test increase or decrease, we can kind of frame it to see how consumers behaved in this situation, or maybe you're just curious to know what exactly happened. Starting off with week 1 here, which is between May 18th to May 25th. These changes were announced on May the 20th. I'm gonna bust out the iPad here and I'm gonna throw it up on the screen, but it's actually pretty cool. I suggest you do subscribe to the weekly email if you are interested in it. Every week I include a cool new photo of a Barrie, whether it be downtown or other neighborhoods, a little bit about it, as well as the average sale price the week prior, as well as the week that where I'm doing that market update on, the average days on market, and then most importantly, which we're gonna be focusing on, which I don't know if you can see from there, or maybe I'll just throw it up on the screen, the amount of new freehold listings, as well as the amount of sold freehold listings, and then condos will kind of, we can include that as well. I might just leave it for another time, but that's specifically what we're going to be looking at to compare the numbers of what exactly happened. What did buyers exactly do prior to these changes being announced, as well as following the announcements and the week afterwards. And really quickly, since we are on the topic, and I'm probably not going to mention this again, I also include in this weekly email a little piece of content that I write. And this week it was actually about the stress test changes coming into effect, as I published it on May 25th, and May 20th is when we had those stress test changes, talking about how buyers are actually gonna be losing around 5% purchasing power. And then finally, I have listing of the week. So I go and handpick a beautiful listing, talk about it, write my own description on it, include a couple photos. So who doesn't want to just see beautiful photos of downtown Barrie, as well as just a cool listing of the week, handpicked by yours truly. Check it out. I'll include the link down below to subscribe to that weekly email if you want to. Now, the week leading up to the announcement of these stress test changes, Barrie saw 73 new freehold listings listed between May 18th to May 25th, and we also saw 56 new freehold listings sold and leave the market. Now, this is a general trend that we have been seeing for a while now. Back in February and March, it was the complete opposite. We had probably 3 listings or 2 listings sold for every new listing hitting the market. But now, since the warm weather came around, sellers are kind of more used to the COVID atmosphere of real estate, and sellers do still want to move. We do still have buyers out there, but we have been seeing more listings to the amount of listings leaving the market or listings sold. So say, in this case, for every listing sold, there's about 1.5 new listings coming onto the market, and that fluctuates between being 2 to 1, some weeks being 3 to 1, but overall new listings hitting the market, much more new listings hitting the market as opposed to listings leaving the market or buyers purchasing them. Now, for the second week between May 25th to June 1st, that was when the announcement was made on the 20th, and a week before the actual changes went into effect, we really had agents talking about 2 potential scenarios after the announcement was made. Number 1 was the fact that many buyers who were now already frustrated with how it is, even though there was new listings coming onto the market and the market is slowly cooling off, after hearing the fact that they will not be able to qualify for as much if they don't buy within a certain time frame, are going to decide to throw in the towel and just eventually leave the market and just step out of the game for a little bit to wait, regroup, or maybe just not even purchase this year or in the next 2 or 3 years. I actually spoke to a few realtors as well who thought their heads were going to explode because they were working with 5 buyers at the time, and because of this new proposed deadline of June 1st, they only had 7 to 9 days to get like an accepted or firm offer, and it would look something like Black Friday in the States. But funny enough, we actually saw a completely different variation of that happen. So between the week of May 25th to June 1st, we saw 54 new freehold listings hit the market in Barrie as opposed to 73 the week prior, as well as 76 freehold listings go sold firm compared to 56 the week prior. So what we actually saw was sellers put a break on it, because after hearing these changes, they said, oh, you know what, we're not really sure what might happen. So an additional 20 to 30 sellers decided to hold off from listing to the market. And we did see an additional 20 to 30 buyers, families, and agents actually ramp it up and get an accepted or firm offer prior to the changes going into effect on June 1st. And although this is a jump or change in the numbers and statistics, it's much lower than we expected. It wasn't like we had double-digit offers in the week prior leading up to June 1st because all the buyers were rushing to get offers accepted prior to the changes to make sure they still qualified for the amount they did. But yeah, it was much lower than expected. I mean, we actually saw the amount of new listings drop as opposed to sellers potentially thinking, oh, these changes are going to affect, I need to get my house up this week as opposed to next week so that we can find a buyer between these changes, so that if buyers are losing around 5% purchasing power, they can buy my house for higher and I don't have to deal with someone or potentially drop the price later on. And on the buying side, I was actually surprised to see this number so low at 76. I was expecting or looking forward to at least 85 to 100 because I really did think there was going to be that increased pressure for buyers to get their offers accepted. But overall, as a real estate agent in the market, I didn't feel some sort of crazy buzz in the week prior leading up to June 1st. And then finally, following the week after the changes between June 1st to June 8th, 2021, we saw the amount of new freehold listings hit the market in Barrie being 79 and the amount of sold freehold listings being 50. And actually compared between June 8th to May 25th, we had 73 new freehold listings and 56 sold freehold listing. Essentially, things went back to exactly how they were. It ended up being something like this as opposed to something like we had a spike and then a drop in the amount of new buyers in the market and going down from there. This is pretty great news for sellers, knowing that the demand is still there for your property. On the buying end, it's unfortunate if you are losing potentially 5% purchasing power. However, with the amount of new listings coming onto the market and with these new listings now being priced at or selling closer to market value and not selling crazy over asking price anymore, or a lot less of it as we're seeing, I think that despite these new stress test changes, there's still some great options available for you as a buyer. So there you go. You now have this data and you can use this however you'd like to. Say we hear an announcement talking about interest rates, actual interest rates going up, and you as a seller want to ideally time your property listing, then probably a week or two prior to those changes taking effect would be the most ideal time, as there's a very good probability of an increased demand, and after these changes come into effect, there might be less demand, or there's a good probability that demand might fall off. That's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you got some value from the video in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe to my weekly email if you are interested in getting a market update, a weekly market update for the city of Barrie. Maybe you're not even looking to purchase anytime soon. Maybe you're not even looking to move to Barrie in the next 2 to 3 years, but you're gonna get that weekly market update. Honestly, I don't care if you just delete it or put it into spam, but when the time comes and you do want to check it, you can take a look at those emails and get a pretty good idea of exactly the market that you're getting yourself into. And I will see you in the next one.